I'm not live now. Pretend that that says live in 10 minutes. That, of course, was the amazing, delicious, wonderful Liyue. Welcome, everybody, to our second of these fantastic little live streams where we listen to Genshin Impact albums. I am, how do I say this without sounding douchey? I am Marco, your host. It sounds douchey. Today we are listening to Jade, Moon Upon a Sea of Clouds, Disc 1 through 3. Now, of course, Disc 1 we listened to previously. However, I want to do them all on one live stream. So I am very excited that you're here. I am thrilled to have you be a part of this community with me. I'm thrilled to have you in a live stream with me where we can hang out, talk about music, and listen to some of these great themes, especially now that I'm moving into Inazuma. It will be nice to sort of revisit what I won't be hearing as much anymore until we get to that whole Azdaha section. So let's make sure this works. Let me know if you can hear the audio. The next track, that of course was Liyue. The next track is Moon in One's Cup, apparently the most replayed song on this CD. So effervescent, right? I love the little piano accents too. Full of possibility and wonder. Those repeated sustained notes are so gorgeous. I hear a lot of possibility in this music. Dance. Super playful. Lovely. Next up is Relaxation in Liyue. I find the far away tune of this very interesting. It's a very, there's a lot of reflective pieces in Liyue, isn't there? That playful ending like that. Maiden's Longing. A slowed down version of the Liyue theme. Certainly very introspective. In a way, some of the pitch on that instrument, too, it raises and lowers slightly. And it gives us a plaintive sound quality to it. And then, of course, with these flute pulsations, this song is just so peaceful. Maybe life isn't so bad. I love the ending too. Yata 5-1. Was that 5-1? 4-1 5. Sunrises in Liyue. Next Genshin live stream will be a week from today. Either Tuesday or Wednesday. As you know, I'm splitting up my time now between Final Fantasy VI and Genshin Impact, so... Why is my Genshin Impact playthrough hard to follow? What does that mean? Sorry. Hello. Again, more of this slow stuff. It's really fascinating that all these themes they're all motives of each other. They play on each other and they're slightly different, all these variations. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here too. Thank you. Ooh. Oh, I love this song. Good night, Liyue. I love that it resolves that way. Da-da-da-da-da. It's the climax of Liyue, but slowed down. How serene. Yeah. They're very musically unified. I love that repeated clarinet. And hey, if the streams are hard to follow due to titling things, that's one thing. Call it a day in Liyue. If the streams are hard to follow because of my playing, well, that's not my problem, I guess. I can absolutely change the titles. Thank you, Kira. Thank you very much. check and make sure they're numbered properly. Try to make them fun, interesting titles. I'll make an adjustment. Is it just me or the music sounds a bit off? Does it? I love that one. That was Call It a Day in Liyue. Clear skies over Liyue. What character am I planning on pulling next? Child? Thanks, Amelia. Okay. Thank you, Phil. I don't fear anything off. I love this. My hope is to get some symphony somewhere, some major symphony, and I'm trying to figure out how to leverage it. I think I need a little bit more clout to do this, because I need Hoyo mix to tune in, and I need to then leverage the channel's growth to like a major symphony orchestra. And I'm trying to think about my history with opera, and I'm trying to coordinate in my brain how I get a company like the Philadelphia Orchestra, or I think the New York Phil is slightly out of reach. But what I want to see if I can do is leverage some sort of influence so that a company is less afraid to program one of the more popular Genshin, maybe one of the more safe Genshin tunes, to see if they'll program it in a concert with some of the other, major symphonic works, like, I don't know, Beethoven, some Beethoven piece or a Ravel piece or something. So I don't know how I'm going to go about doing that, but that's a really big goal of mine. Oop, I'm out of focus. That's one of the big goals of mine for Genshin music specifically. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. But that's absolutely a goal with the channel. So trying to figure that out. That's like once we cross into 100,000 and beyond, I'm going to try to see how I leverage like any sort of like music influencer silliness as like a tool for Genshin music specifically to get access in a wider classical world. So I don't know. I've done crazier things, so I'm going to do it. A transparent moon. Hey, Callie. Well, maybe you'll be able to go. It's just an idea, but I'd like to see it happen. Huh. Yeah, of course. love this is again too that final melody of Liyue here. Hello. Treasury from the Northland. Why is that? What does that mean? Huh. I wonder why that sounds the way it does. I'm thinking about that. Northland Bank. I mean, yes, I think the music, story-wise, I feel like the music does. Why does it sound like that? Because it doesn't sound like a bank, right? It sounds like really pensive and like somber in a way. So like, why is that? Cozy leisure time. Wangshu daytime. Really? All money-related songs have that style? New Genshin concert? When I end in Azuma. I have not watched the behind the scenes. Not today. No echoes from the conch today. Oh, actually, that's not true. It's coming later, isn't it? Rhythms from the conch. Sojourner's Sweet Dream, Wangshu Night. John. We will, yes. Not today, though. Today's strictly Jade, Moon Upon a Sea of Clouds, disc 1 through 3. Inazuma music, no. Liyue music, yes. Ooh! Dragonspine will be the next one, then. Comments about my beard, thank you. Yes, I'm trying to... I'll talk during the pause. I love that tonal quality. 3 albums. I love that. Little accents there. Just 3 pieces. 3 albums, 3 Sumero pieces. Someone asked about my beard. This is not that important, but all that's to say is that I'm working on it. I'm trimming it. I don't know how long it'll get. Maybe it'll get to here. I'll probably shave it after that. Just felt like doing something different. Winding River. Thank you, Petro. Yes, Genshin music is phenomenal. What do you mean you miss my British accent? What do you mean you miss my British accent? You don't think it's fantastic? Jesus. Mild Waves. Thank you, Victoria. I love that my beard has become a talking point. I had a teacher that said that having a beard is you hiding. I think it's no different than makeup. My British accent. Thank you, Sufyan. Rhythm amidst the reeds. I just love the repurposing of this. The repurposing of the Liyue theme. Oh, don't you love that? Swad? Hello. Ciao. You leave my artifacts out of it. So I meant to say, what's really interesting to me as we've listened through all of these, the leitmotifs are becoming really apparent to me, which is inevitably going to lead me to a pretty long video, probably about each section, where each region will have a leitmotif sort of discussion. We understand that leitmotifs, if you watch my Inazuma video, I go into explaining what a leitmotif is, but a leitmotif is a recurring melody that occurs due to a place, a person, or a thing. So, for instance, there are a few scenes in La Bohème, for instance, when Rodolfo and Mimi meet in Act 1, they have this whole back and forth. Non stia sull'uscio, il lume vacilla al vento, oddio, torni ad accenderlo, addio, anche il mio si è spento, ah. And then they sing their arias, si mi chiamano, mi, right? So then in Act 4, that's Act 1, everything's happy. Act 4, things go south, and there's sickness, and there's death. And all these melodies come back. And those are the leitmotifs of Rodolfo and Mimi's love. And so what we see in video games is this recurrence of leitmotifs. And it's interesting because every single track we've listened to in Jade Moon Upon a Sea of Clouds, and I think also in the Mondstadt CDs, albums, I should say, there is a reuse of the melody. And it's interesting because I think it's different in video games where like Liyue or Inazuma, right? Like, or Mondstadt, that is like the core melody. And then around it, wherever we go in the region, there is a modified version. There's a version of that theme to represent a different corner of that region. So it's kind of confusing because you've got the umbrella of the leitmotif, you've got the umbrella theme, which is the Liyue or whatever. And then you have all the different areas within that region that also amplify the leitmotif of the region. So it's like those melodies are not individual per se, even though they're just all variations on a theme, but they are leitmotifs in the traditional sense of the word, because leitmotifs describe when a character appears on stage. So it's a little confusing, and it's certainly different than they're probably just it's a little confusing because it's not like very clear cut as in like opera where it's like, oh, character A shows up, like the Fatui Harbinger theme. Anytime we hear that, anytime we hear, you know, in Tartaglia's theme, for instance, because I was listening to it in the car the other day, Tartaglia's theme, you know, he's got the accordion that's playing the Fatui theme. Then you've got La Signora's theme, and her theme that's that Fatui Harbinger theme, right? And then someone in one of my comments said, how did you know that there was a relationship between Raiden Shogun and La Signora, which I haven't seen, but obviously that was spoiled for me in the comments. But like, it's like, well, I knew there was a relationship because that leitmotif reappeared, right? And so like, that's how musically we can look at, we can sort of deduce what's occurring because we have this recap and this repeating theme. And these themes are specific, you know, to characters. Those are true leitmotifs. The overworld, this is a big rant, but these overworld themes, it's interesting, this play on leitmotif and motifs in general. So all that to say, it's pretty interesting that every single track we've listened to has featured that recurring Liyue theme in variation. So it's pretty cool. Flows of Jade like water. There it is again. Because how many measures can that possibly be? 16? How many? I don't have the score in front of me. Oh, well, that's probably true too. I think they showcased the other leitmotifs in the travel trailer. I find that song pretty interesting. Blossoms Across the Valley, and both of these flow of mildness. As always, please no spoilers about anything. Stroll in the shadows. It's also interesting to me when there's only one instrument, it's almost always introspection of some kind. Dizzy. Thank you, Fire in the Red. I appreciate that. I appreciate this this common trope in Genshin. Well, I think most games do this, but they have this ability of these night themes are so very delicate. There's a sweet, sleepy quality to that. Legends swept away. It's interesting to hear the bow on the string. Oof, that hits. Someone earlier asked what headphones I'm using. I am using Bayer Dynamic. It's not sponsored. Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pro. 32 ohms. So I don't know how this will work for just plug and play, but theoretically it should work really well. I use these for voiceover and they plug into my box here, my solid state logic audio interface. So I'm monitoring myself and the music, and then I have my gain turned up so I can hear everything. Yeah, I just go anywhere and buy them on Amazon or whatever. I have an affiliate link with Sweetwater, but I haven't actually activated it because it's a whole separate issue. But I haven't bothered to do any of that stuff. Someone asked why I feel, David, why do you think it's not usual to hear a singer in any theme? Well, there is that one. The main theme has that singer. And I think the reason is, well, I don't know the reason. If I were to guess why we don't use singers for certain things, I think it's probably because I think the human voice has a tendency to be flawed. There are a lot of mistakes in the voice, and there's even great singers make mistakes. I think sometimes the singing voice can be a little bit too human. So there's a bit more, there's a bit of a raw quality to the human voice that I think could maybe detract. Also, there's a very common trope of using female singers. I was listening to The Greatest Jubilee from Bayonetta earlier, and they use sopranos and altos. And I was thinking to myself, why is it that whenever we're talking about heaven or whatever, there tends to be the use of the soprano and alto, usually because those are like celestial voices, especially sopranos, or we consider them like heavenly voices. They hit a little bit different, and men in video games tend to be more demons, or when there's something really virile and strong. And I think these, unfortunately, are a bit of like these stereotypes that exist in music writing. Because I would love to hear a man sing a more empathetic or emotional song, or sing in like a godly way. One way to describe that would be Pantheon's theme from League of Legends. I thought it was a woman, and it's a man. And so there are some tropes that I think, like, I don't know why like chorus isn't used. The only time chorus is really used in Genshin is the main theme, and then those battle themes. And now I'm like thinking about why that is. It's very interesting. I don't have an answer, but that's my hot take. The joy of returning. Loner's departure. Loner's departure. As a bassoonist, you must be in heaven. I rarely hear the bassoon outside of classical literature. It's all over the place in Genshin, which is fascinating. All over the place in Genshin. Foxes at Play is the next one. Nice use of the all very peaceful though. We're not going to listen to Sumeru music until I get to Sumeru, which that will be whenever that is. And I have to get through Inazuma music. So whenever that day comes, that day will come. As far as when I'm doing the second Genshin concert, that will come once I finish Inazuma. As you know, I've been very excited to get to Inazuma, and I am avoiding spoilers, musically or otherwise, until it is time. So expect a lot of Inazuma tracks to be featured on the channel. That's something new I'm switching to when it comes to Genshin Impact music. As much as I enjoy guessing things, like the character demos, which those will stay. But as far as music, it's more than likely I'll either go backwards to things in Liyue, things that we're listening to today, things from Mondstadt, but I'm probably going to record videos concurrently with where I am in Inazuma, because I find that the combination of talking about where I was on stream, our interactions on stream, plus my impressions, it's essentially like a review in progress, but from a musical perspective, which is interesting to me, even though it means that I don't necessarily have a backlog of Genshin videos. That said, the character demos will be guessing. Now, of course, there are people on the internet that presume that I am lying and cheating, and that I look up all the lore before I record the demos. Well, I can tell you I do not do that. So, not that it matters. But if you're watching this and you say, Marco, you look up all the lore before you record the character demo of Albedo. No, I don't. Plane of Nostalgia. Correct, Naval. This reminds me of Debussy. Hey, Zev. How do I guess the way I guess? Well, there are a few things. I mean, when you look at... So I studied for as long as it takes to be a doctor in medicine. I studied to be a musician. And this is even longer because... So here's Marco lore, if this is interesting to you. I started in high school when I was in 7th grade. Actually, I started being in plays. First show I ever did was Sound of Music. I played like chorus characters, and then as I progressed, I got better and better roles and opportunities. And that was a Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and I was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. And then I went to undergraduate for music education because my parents felt that I should have a backup plan, and I just wanted to be a performer because I had found my calling, and I found a place and I found a purpose in music and in acting and in theater when I started doing the plays. And I found that I wasn't bullied as much when I was in the plays. Like, it's like almost when I found my purpose, everything else melted away. So then I went to undergraduate studies, and I decided halfway through to add performance and spite my parents instead of saying, no, let me get a backup plan, which I never wanted to be a teacher. So I went ahead, and it's a funny position to be in now because I feel like I am teaching music education, music appreciation. I would not say that I'm teaching you music education. I don't think that that's fair to me or to you. I think I'm teaching music appreciation. And there are courses in undergraduate programs, especially at liberal arts schools that have music programs that teach why music is happy, why music is sad, why music sounds the way it sounds. I mean, so I decided to then, my last year of undergraduate, I told my parents, I'm not staying in the music education track. And I quit music education and I only focused on performance. So that's already 4 years plus 4 years of high school theater, listening and obsessing over musicals. Then I did 4 years. So that's already 8 years. Then I went to grad school, which was it was 2 years. Then there was another 2 years where I did something called an artist diploma. And first year of undergraduate, I hated opera. I thought opera was so boring. I fell asleep at every opera I saw. Don Giovanni, slept through it. Aida, left halfway. Marriage of Figaro, left halfway. Like, I wasn't into opera. And then I listened to, I started listening to Pavarotti really intensely. And from that moment on, it was like my world like imploded. I forget what opera triggered it, but I would sit in the music library and I would go into a listening room and I would crank up every single opera. Every Friday, I would listen to a new opera. And so I gave myself the education of hearing pieces like Werther by Jules Massenet, pieces like La Fille de Regiment by Gaetano Donizetti, listening to Barbara of Seville by Rossini, listening to Puccini, listening to Verdi, Trovatore, La Traviata. And so what this did was it created a musical understanding of, well, when Violetta is sick and she's dying of tuberculosis, the music is sad. Imagine that. And then, yes, there is a whole context of music that's occurring behind it that, the way the strings lilt, the way the tone, the pitches she's singing, finalmente, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, so the thing about opera that I think confuses people, because I'm not a composer, no, I can't sit here and say, look, here are the notes. Here's the reason why when it descends and it's a chord, it's a D minor chord, that sound quality means this. And the key signature is G sharp. And so G sharp is a key that elicits this emotional response, which I can find that on the internet, no problem. But the point is that, like, what I learned how to do is transmit emotion from the composer to the orchestra to the vocalist to the audience. And so essentially becoming a medium for expression. And so like any opera is really fun to listen to. It sounds good, it's fun, but if there's no singer that is like articulating che gelida manina se la lasci riscaldar cercar che giova al buio non si trova. That's playful, right? And then the thing is too, let me just finish this rant by saying that then I went to an opera boot camp for 3 years. And in this boot camp, we would legitimately sit in a room with the conductor and we would listen over and over and over and over and over and over and over. We would repeat the same lines over and over and over. Why? Not because of the musical correctness, which, yes, that was a part of it, but because we were trying to get to the root of what it meant to be a person telling the truth, right? And that's the thing. Music is unequivocally true. What we say, what we hear is true. There's no lying in music. And so it became my job to cut through the music. What is actually going on? Why does Mario Cavaradossi in Tosca say recondita armonia di bellezze diverse bruna floria l'ardente amante mia? Why does he say it's awesome to love multiple women at one time, but Tosca is mine? And with that melodic descent, I don't know. That's Puccini's dead. I can't ask him, and he probably doesn't even know because he was just like, oh, this sounds pretty. So, as an interpreter, it was my job to figure out how to cut through and tell a story to an audience. And anyway, so there you go. That's why when I talk about Genshin music or any music on the channel, I'm not going to sit here and talk about what chords do what. That is interesting and it's a valid thing to know, right? But in terms of like, for you, what's important is knowing what the music sounds like and how it makes you feel so that you can understand that. You know what I mean? Music matters because music is the thing that speaks to us. This entire CD is interesting because this music feels good. And each of these little tracks have intricacies that allow us to feel a certain way. And that's more important to me than whether or not you know what key it's in, even though that's completely valid. Let's carry on. And nobody left. Proud of you for letting me rant. Another hopeful tomorrow. And listen to it. Come on. That's so beautiful, and thank you for your sweet comments. I love that. I wish that was like 5 minutes longer. Oh, but that's the other thing. Right? Like that piece is what a minute and a half, a minute and change. And there's a gorgeous build up, right? But like if that was any longer, there's the Act 2 finale of Le Nozze di Figaro. There is a scene, and I'm trying not to play these samples because unfortunately, like, the classical music copyright laws are very lame. And anytime that I play classical music on this channel, I get copyright claimed, which it's fine. Like, it's fine. I'd rather educate, but in this case, like, I don't, not because I'm trying to make money, but because it's just like, it's a pain in the ass. And It's frustrating. But so in Act 2, so just bear with me as I try to explain it. In Act 2 of Le Nozze di Figaro, there's a lot of like chatter. And then there's the most incredible moment where you have the basses, the basses go bum di da 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 ba da 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 Marcellina Marcellina da 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 da, and then instantly it's done. And I always feel like why does that happen? Like, why did Mozart say, let's just do that for 10 seconds? Like, let's turn the headlights inward, get this like inner world of these four characters. It's a quartet, and then switch it back to this really fast thing. And much like this piece, Another Hopeful Tomorrow, it's over like that. And I always feel a little bit like ripped off, because it's like, I should have more, because that's gorgeous. But there's something about like the impermanence of life that I think, again, music, because music, like, what's crazy about music is that we're lucky because we live in a world where albums exist. Like, we can listen to this over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? But like, if you're at a concert, it's gone. It's a live moment that that's the thing about music. Music is like this. It's weird. It's three-dimensional. It hits you. It comes up to your ears. You process it, and it's already gone. And music in a live concert setting is an impermanent experience. And it's like a life. It's a life-affirming thing that like everything in our life is impermanent. And so we're lucky that we live in a time where technology, we have the benefit of, first of all, video games, thank God for that. But we have the benefit of being able to listen to stuff that we like a lot. And so it ingrains in us. But like, audiences in the 1800s, whether it was symphonic literature, opera, what have you got one chance and you had to go again. And then you wouldn't hear it. You understand? You wouldn't hear a piece you liked until the next time an orchestra decided to play it. Like, that's a crazy thought to me. Like, what? Like, how do people learn about music? How do people like decide they loved music? I don't know. But so, again, shorter doesn't mean, it's weird. I don't like letting go of things. Like, I like to hold on to things, sometimes way longer than they should. And sometimes something that's short, sweet, and beautiful is more impactful than if Another Hopeful Tomorrow was 15 minutes long, 7 minutes long. It maybe wouldn't have the same impact, but I love that piece. 2 for 2 on the rants. This little light of mine. The flower duet is from an opera. Does this play? I can't remember. I like that there's like the harp in the background. Not the harp, it's not the harp. Wow. Well, maybe my rant didn't make sense because there's 2 versions of that. Legend of Redemption. We're actually getting this for 15 minutes. So I would like make it. But this is a variation on what we just listened to. I don't think I went to the Guyun Stone Forest. This is such a gorgeous variation of this. It's like love. Oh yeah, this, I'm sorry, yes. Right. Of course. It's so beautiful. Hazy light. Such beautiful long bowing in this. The birds chirping, you hear that? So beautiful. Scattered amongst the tides. If I close my eyes, I'm not sleeping, I'm just taking it in. Although this music is... I can fall asleep to this music. Favorite piece in Genshin right now? Right now it's Andrea's Symphony of Boreal that'll change. Inazuma's up there. This is rhythm. See, and then when they do use the voices, there's an ethereal quality to this and the main theme that is just so like. All right, a few minute intermission while I change tabs. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, I don't know why you have questions, but if you do, I will take them. No. No, I'm not. Luna's good. She's asleep. I have to go get her a costume. What is music? What is music? What did I have for breakfast? Oatmeal with protein powder and coffee. What is music? Music is the expression of the soul. It's the soul put to life. How am I so awesome? Why should one join your Discord? Because I feel like we have a really nice community there. How well does the music convey its intended feeling to you while you're playing? Super well. Art is how we decorate space. Music is how we decorate time. Who is music? What is love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Oh. I don't know what that question means. Do you have a favorite musical? It's been a minute, but probably Phantom of the Opera. Can you confirm that country music is in fact not music? Don't cancel me, Joshua. Don't cancel me, Joshua. That would end poorly for me, I think. I have no opinion on whether or not country music. Am I a wizard? Not as far as I know. Why are we the only ones who can create and understand music? I don't know. Maybe dogs think that their speaking is music. First time you noticed music was something else in video games was Final Fantasy VII. Immortal Beloved, no, it's on my list. Scarlet Pimpernel, ooh, book. Oh my god, it's Gumi from the Discord. Favorite color, burgundy. All right, people are leaving, so I better push play. Ninjas. Inazuma next week. I tried playing the guitar. Pizza con l'ananas? Assolutamente no. Kuja boss theme. Yes. So singable. Oof, God, this is so good. Yes, Andrews. Eventually. The Fading Stories. It all feels like love to me in a lot of ways. There's such a loving essence to it. Arpeggiating up. Oof, that feels so good. So introspective. Wandering Flight. faint tracks. That's very curious. You hear it. You hear like a little rabbit's snowfall. We're speeding up. Idle away from mountains, huh? Of course, Rosario. Humming amidst rocks. Don't mind me drinking water. Lots of treachery in this track. Oh, haunted forest theme. That makes sense. Yeah, I've been doing a terrible job of drinking water. Disc 2. Chi-Chi, right? Thank you for the beard compliments. Hello. Isn't this Chi-Chi? Hola. Nope, here goes chat with their memeing. When you say I pulled a Chi-Chi, are you saying, I pulled a Chi-Chi, I got a Chi-Chi? Surely that's not what that's supposed to mean, right? I should analyze the song and just have every single one in the comments say I pulled a Chi-Chi. Oh, got it, okay. That's sad, that's one of the most beautiful songs in this. Chi-Chi. Oh, God. You've ruined this for me. You've ruined this for me. This is a casual visit and the one before was Adeptus Retirement. I'm not covering this. God, I was better off not knowing that. Oh boy. A serendipitous encounter. I should have a cover for you here pretty soon. Of what, though? We'll never know. It's not Chi-Chi. Yeah, this is a really nice back and forth. I pulled a chief. That was an accident. Freedom of Crane. I can't unhear it. I'm so mad. Gracias. You think I pulled the Chi-Chi would be an easy 3 million views? That would be so absurd. You're so lucky I couldn't find the lyrics. You're so lucky I didn't find the lyrics. This is most replayed. I wonder why. Send me the lyrics and I will color this. I will cover this. I will cover this gladly. Ooh. It's incredibly catchy. It's bad. Study it. That's beautiful. Adeptus Solace. Oh. No, I don't listen to Genshin music before bed. I usually listen to the screams of my enemies. Anyway, absence of adepti. Emerging Clouds is next. But probably days, weeks, months. Probably, yeah. Thanks, Mr. Pringles. You're welcome. And thank you. Whoa. Well, Joshua, do you feel like that extra touch is because, in a way, this is their music? The thing is, exoticism is an interesting phenomenon when we look at classical music in general. We look at Scheherazade, we look at 1001 Arabian Nights, we look at operas by Giacomo Puccini based on the Wild West and La Fanciulla del West, or we look at Puccini's take of... it does that, I don't know why. You look at Puccini's take on Japanese culture and Madama Butterfly, or you know, there's other examples, and that's all what we would perceive and label as exoticism. And exoticism, which I've mentioned in another video, can't remember which one, essentially, like, it's Puccini never went to the Wild West in the 1800s. He wasn't going out with the gold miners. So he was creating an interpretation of what he perceived American sound qualities to be, right? And so, like, what's interesting about that is that in theory, you know, why does Liyue sound the way it does? Well, because this is the soundscape that composer and composers know, possibly. Whereas everything else is sort of like this idea of what it is. I don't know. I don't know if Liyue is considered extra touch or not, or that's not a question I can answer. But certainly I think it's interesting to think like, everything else, like when they do Fontaine, sorry, I keep reading it Fontaine. Fontaine is going to be French or sort of like carnival-y sound. Like that's something that's going to be researched. And I'm sure they researched all of this, but so it's just an interesting question and an interesting point about like what exoticism is, how it applies to music, because it was also applied to art and it was also applied to literature at the same time. And typically when we have big events, whether it's expressionism, impressionism, surrealism, verismo, those are all these things are usually correlated by what's happening in the art world, what's happening in the literary world, and what's happening in the musical world, and they all sort of feed into each other. I think we're not really in like a period anymore. I don't know what today's period would be called, but it's kind of interesting. Thanks, Lenny. Oh, ciao Napoli, i miei sono di campagna. Un piacere. Who's Marcus? It's kind of freaky. Red leaf on the chessboard. Oh, I thought you were calling me Marcus. Who's Marcus? My name's Marco. Better than Mario. You both call me that. Not quite. I didn't mean to sound accusatory. Who's Marcus? Hello. Hi, Marcus. It's a me, Marco, me the ball. What do you mean? Hmm. Spoopy. This is a really interesting back half of this CD. Mamma mia! That harp. Gosh. Guzang? Okay, sorry. Oh, juice. Oh, so it's D, Z. Yeah. Guzhang. WTF are you doing? Listening to the music of Liyue? This is still the same thing. Solitude in the Mountains. And then this is Distant Resonance. My name is Marco, not Chad. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? Disc 2. It's kind of it's like, it's not freaky, it's like a little intense. Like, it's making me a little uncomfortable. Foregone giants. I don't know why it does that distortion. I'm sorry. Number 28, Linger in the Valley. I was thinking about how it was resolving to 5-1. Or no, it's not 5-1. Yeah, well, okay. Slumbering Lore. No, I'm not sleepy. So introspective. Gosh. Is that it? No. Silent Ruins. These latter half pieces are very atmospheric, huh? Kind of interesting. It's like something's like bubbling to the surface, you know? I'm enjoying it. These last few have been a little bit freaky, less chill, but of course I'm enjoying it very much. We're on track 31 now. Lone Drifter's next. Oh yeah, of course this one. I love that cascading piano. Next track is the Realm Within. What? Oh my gosh, this is good. that drumming in the background too. Wow. Alrighty, switching to CD album 3, Battles of Liyue. There's only 3 tracks, so... Bear with me. Okay. Eventually, yes. Have I ever thought about being a conductor? No. Chasing the torrents, of course. I don't know why that sound does that. Longbows. Oof, that's good. Gallant challenge. Love that. Love that climb up, climb down. Right here. Climb up, climb down. Well, I've got one more surprise for you. That is Jade Moon Upon a Sea of Clouds. We did it, all three. The surprise is this analyzation that we're going to do live, and then I will probably rip this and put it as a separate audio. So hang on. Please hold as I get this going. You'll know this theme. So, all right, hold up. So as we start this piece, and we're about a minute in now, there's a few interesting things. The one thing I've noticed that based on my playthrough of that interaction with Child and with Tartaglia, there is this element of desperation that I actually hear now, especially when we get that really sharp right? Then on top of that, yes, he's fast. Yes, we understand that, like, you know, whoop, 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 whoop. He's backflipping, he's dancing around. There's sort of like very agile quality to him. And it's interesting that, like, this battle with the Traveler is very important to Child. And there is an element here of like, I need this, right? Like, yes, he needs the thing that we're standing behind, right? I forget what it's called, the whatever. But I don't know. It's sort of like when he decides to unveil himself, it's almost like he needs to best us, because if he doesn't, it's almost like a psychological like feeling of not being good enough. You know what I mean? And I think like probably what we will see and continue to see with Tartaglia. First of all, I'm not entirely sure that he'll stay with the Fatui. I think the Harbingers, I think he might defect as we move later on in the game, because his behavior is very like, he's very self-serving. So it's less about being a part of a group and more about like his own like moral compass and his own values, and he will move towards those values regardless of what the harbingers themselves do. I think it's convenient for him to be a part of the harbingers, but I'm not necessarily positive that he will remain one. Now, when we shift into this section, right there. So the use of the accordion for that Fatui theme, obviously we have that leitmotif that I've mentioned. And so here, you know, there's an element of romance, of romancing, of seduction, of playfulness. Like I mentioned in the first time I covered this, there is an air of this quality of very debonair stylings, which is interesting too. And why the accordion? Yes, related to Sneznaya and other things, but on top of that, I feel like there's a real like playful, earthy quality to the accordion that I think reflects Child too. This fast, frenetic, and then the piano. All over the piano. This is a desperate line here, right here. I love that. As we build. Bam. And this is when we start to see that desperation become a real thing for him. Even something simple like that. That is this like outpouring of like, it's almost like this rage emerges out from Tartaglia in this moment where there is this like sheer desire for violence. It's almost like he like sort of like unhinges slightly. And so any of the pleasantry that we understood or knew, now it's like personal, right? And I find the organ, I always find this interesting in every video I cover where there's an organ involved, and how unholy, if the organ is like such a predominant force in religious and liturgical music, when we have the organ in the context like this, it really is supposed to reflect evil and reflect malice and reflect contempt. And it's very interesting to have this melody here and like feel him like really like, you don't understand, like I need this, and there's an unraveling here. everything's in unison. Everything's in unison besides the lower basses that are giving us the, our chordal structure, but everything is in unison, which I think that's when everything, there's no conflict here for Tartaglia and Child. There's no more like, well, I do like them and I do revere him. Instead, this becomes this really high focused, why is everything chord, 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 chord? That's a unison experience. That's a unity, a resolute choice is made. And when we switch into this, his version with his face and all his body all changed, it's very interesting. And then, of course, and there too, it's really cool to rehear this Fatui Harbinger melody, but now in the strings, and then underneath you've got that drum, which is very like percussive. Obviously, it's a drum, but it's very sharp and everything's very tight. And the whale sound there is genius. But then this. Listen to each individual little voice here. It's almost like he loses himself. Absolutely sick. Absolutely sick. I've been re-listening to that as I go through and start to consider revisiting the La Signora theme with some Latin lyrics and Latin discussion and stuff. So really cool. Just such a powerful theme, and you really hear that desperation and the I think almost even some self-terror, like almost like he's like, even though he has access to these abilities, there's like some deep-seated concern that he's losing himself to whatever power he's amassed, Anyway, I'm going to go. Tomorrow I am streaming Final Fantasy VI, and then Friday, my friends, shifting to 3:30 Eastern, not 4 o'clock, we are having our spooky live stream of spooky music, and I ask you to please be on time, please attend. I have a surprise for you that you won't want to miss, and it will start Well, it'll be throughout the entire event, but it will start at 3:30 Eastern, and I think you're going to have a great time. Very scary music. I'm a little uncomfortable even finding the pieces. I'm almost done making a concert order, and I hope that you will be there because I think you're going to have a good time. As always, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.